Greetings to all of you. This is my first class for the ICSE batch, and I'm beginning with the play The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare. Today I will deal with Scene 1, Act 1 of the play. We have 6 characters in Act 1, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice. In the beginning, we see Antonio with his friends Salarino and Salanio. Later, when Bassanio enters the scene with Lorenzo and Gratiano, Salarino and Salanio exit. So we can divide the first scene into 2 parts. The first part consisting of Antonio, Salarino and Salanio, where they deal with the sadness that Antonio is going through. Later, when Bassanio, Gratiano and Lorenzo enter, the topic of discussion changes. So today we will deal with the first part of Scene 1, Act 1. The scene takes place on a street in Venice, and the opening words are spoken by Antonio. Antonio says, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." Sooth meaning truth. Antonio is sad, but he himself does not know the cause for his sadness. He says, "How I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it is made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn." So Antonio himself needs to know the cause for his sadness. And such a want with sadness. Here want with means lack of wisdom or lack of knowledge. So this sadness, whose reason is yet to be understood by Antonio, has been expressed as want with sadness. And this want with sadness is causing a lot of trouble or ado, meaning trouble for Antonio. So when Antonio expresses his sadness, his friends Salarino and Salanio, who were present with him at that time, try to console him. Salarino speaks at first, telling, "Your mind is tossing on the ocean." Now Antonio's rich commercial ships are on trade. They are on the sea carrying expensive merchandise. And that is why Antonio must be thinking about those ships. There where your argosies with portly sail. So Antonio's mind is on the sea where his argosies, meaning ships with portly sail. These ships are very large and big in size, and their sails are portly, meaning majestic, like Signoirs and rich burghers on the flood. Signoirs meaning gentlemen and rich burghers meaning respected citizen. So here we get a simile where the ships of Antonio have been compared with the Signoirs and rich burghers. And these ships are on the flood. Here flood means sea. The ships are on the sea or ocean. Or it were the peasants of the sea. Salarino also says that Antonio's ships look like peasants of the sea. Peasant meaning procession. Such large ships with such portly sails, when they move together over the sea, it creates a spectacular view. That view itself is a splendor to look at. And these majestic ships of Antonio create such a spectacular view that they are like pageants of the sea. Now, other than Antonio's ships, there are other commercial boats, smaller boats, and these ordinary commercial boats has been referred as petty traffickers. And when Antonio's big ships move past these petty traffickers, the smaller boats, they show courtesy, that is respect, and reverence to the majestic ships of Antonio. And when the ships of Antonio move past these petty traffickers, they surpass, overpeer. The overpeer means the splendor and majesty of Antonio's ships surpass the ordinary boats. And again we get a comparison made between the portly sails of Antonio's ships and the woven wings of the petty traffickers. The petty traffickers, meaning the ordinary boats, their sails are made with canvas. They are weaker and they are very ordinary. They are just made up of canvas. Whereas Antonio's ships are having portly sail. They are so majestic. So by this description of the ships of Antonio, we get to know about the kind of business that Antonio possesses. He is a rich and wealthy businessman, and his ships are so big and large. And these ships are not only big in size, but the merchandise, the cargo that they carry are all very expensive and costly. So from this, we could get to know about the wealth of Antonio and the status that he holds as a businessman. After this, Salarino says, "Believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, the better part of my affection would be with my hopes abroad." Here, Salarino is also of same opinion as Salarino. That if Salarino is telling that if he had such business, if he was facing similar situation like Antonio, where his own ships were carrying such rich cargo, then his mind would be on the ocean. He would also be thinking about the fate of the ships, the fate which lies abroad. I should be still plucking the grass to know where sets the wind. So if Salarino's ships were on ocean, then Salarino would have plucked the grass and throw it to see in which direction the grass moves, because that will give the direction of the wind. And we know that the direction of the wind decides the movement of the ship. And by that, Salarino would have decided that in which direction the ships were moving, and that direction would tell him that his ships were safe. And he would also peer in maps for ports and piers and roads. So not only will he pluck the grass to find out the direction, but he will look deeply on the maps and piers, looking for ports and piers. Piers meaning harbors. So he will do this to see that yes, his ships are reaching a safe destination. And every object that might make me fear misfortune to my ventures out of doubt would make me sad. And that the thought of a misfortune would have made Salarino sad. Now Salarino speaks. Salarino says, "My wind cooling my broth would blow me to an egg when I thought what harm a wind too great at sea might do." Salarino is telling that while he is thinking of his ships and breathing his breath, my wind meaning his breath, the breath that he exhales is capable of cooling his broth, broth meaning soup. So if the breath, the air which is exhaled is capable of cooling the soup, then what can the wind in the ocean do to the ships? What harm a wind too great at sea might do? So what can a storm which appeared in the ocean can do to the ships? I should not see the sandy hourglass run. And in such a situation, Saladino will not prefer to look at the hourglass. Why? Because if he looks at the hourglass, which get the time, the sand inside the hourglass will remind him of the sand in the sea, the shallow banks and the shallow sea water and the sand banks. So when the water is shallow, ships often get stuck. And once the ships get stuck, they meet a dead end. So here Salarino is telling that the sand which is present in the hourglass will remind him of the sand which is present in the shallow sea and the sandbanks which can cause the stop, a halt in the movement of the ship. And if ever the ship get stuck in the shallow sand bank, then it will meet its dead end. It will kiss her burial. The ship will kiss her burial. Salarino is again telling that at such a time, if he goes to the church for prayer, the holy edifice of stone. Edifice means building. The stone building of the church will remind him of the dangerous rocks which are present underneath the sea. And if the ship strikes this dangerous rock, it might break into pieces and the rich merchandise consisting of silk and spices will scatter and float on the water. As long as these merchandise are safe inside the ship, they are of great value. But if ever the ship breaks into pieces by striking a dangerous rock, the merchandise will scatter and float on water and they will be of no value. So this thought of a mischance, this thought of a misfortune to his ships is making Antonio sad. When Salarino opines that Antonio is feeling sad for his merchandise, Antonio replies that his fortune does not depend on one bottom, meaning one ship. Neither does it depend on all the ships which belong to one particular area. His whole estate does not depend on the profit made from the business venture of the present year. He has been a businessman for a long time, and so he does not feel sad for his merchandise. Then Salarino opines that he must be in love. And to that, Antonio reacts, telling "Fie, fie," meaning nonsense. Now, from this, we have to understand certain thing about Antonio's character. Like Antonio is a young man, and a young man is quite likely to fall in love with a young lady. Then why does he say "Fie, fie"? Why does it seem nonsensical to him? So in this play also we see that his best friend Bassanio, like to win his lady love, Bassanio can do anything. Like Bassanio himself did not have the money. He came to Antonio to borrow money so that he can present himself as suitor for Portia. And for that reason, later again we will find that they had to borrow money from Shylock. And for that, Antonio's life was at risk. Then also Bassanio did not move back from presenting his love to Portia. While Antonio, he being a young man, his love for a young lady seems to be quite nonsensical. So from this we can understand that Antonio is not like any other young man in society. And again, that fact that Antonio also said that a loss of profit for the whole year will also not cause him any sadness. So he's not only indifferent to love, he's indifferent to wealth also. Like while Bassanio wants to win Portia's hand to earn a fortune, to become rich and prosperous, Antonio's loss of fortune of a whole year will also not cause him any sadness. So by contrasting these two characters, I want to show that Antonio is quite different from other young men in the society. So after this, again, Salarino says that if it is not love, then what is making Antonio sad? That he is not happy, he is not merry, and that is making him sad. And then Salarino refers to the two-headed Janus, and Janus is the Roman god having two heads, one looking inwards and the other looking outwards. One is always frowning and the other is always smiling. By this two-headed Janus, it is made there are two types of people in our society. One type of people, they laugh too much. They laugh at any ordinary thing. And they laugh so much that they have grown wrinkles all around their eyes. And that has made their eyes grow smaller, and that is why they ever peep through their eyes. While the serious-minded people, they are people with vinegar aspect. They laugh at nothing, as if they have decided not to show their teeth in the act of smiling. Then Salarino informs that Bassanio, the most noble kinsman, has arrived, along with Gratiano and Lorenzo. Now, kinsman means friend. Most noble kinsman means best friend. So, Bassanio, the best friend of Antonio, has arrived, and he is accompanied by Gratiano and Lorenzo. And as Bassanio arrives, then Salarino and Salanio, they decide to leave Antonio to keep him in better company with his best friend. So with this, we come to the end of the first part of Scene 1, Act 1 of The Merchant of Venice. So after this, when these new characters arrive the scene, we will find that the discourse of conversation changes. And so I have decided to discuss that part of the scene in my later class. Thank you and stay healthy, stay blessed.